Ethanol is causing a huge food versus fuel controversy between the US and Mexico. The US is implementing a form of colonialism on Mexico by tightening its grip on corn and making it more expensive and difficult for the Mexican population to acquire it. In a way, the US has taken over part of the economic control over Mexico. The economic system element of culture is most connected to this issue because the US is playing a role in Mexico's economic structure. The US is deeply involved in this issue because it is using a lot of corn to make ethanol, which is making it more expensive for Mexican citizens. 80% of Mexico's corn inputs, which account for a quarter of its consumption, are from the United States. And US corn prices have risen, largely because of surges in demand to make ethanol. The issue is that the new fuel source ethanol is causing a problem in many countries, including Mexico. The environmental consequences of corn-based ethanol are far from benign, and indeed are negative in a number of important respects. The current policy bias toward corn-based ethanol has driven a run-up in the prices of staple foods in the United States and around the world, with particularly hurtful consequences for poor consumers in developing countries. In July 2007, the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development issued an outlook for 2007 to 2016, saying that biofuels had introduced global structural shifts in food markets that would raise food costs during the next 10 years. Especially for the 2.7 billion people in the world living on the equivalent of less than $2 a day, and the 1.1 billion surviving on less than $1. Even marginal increases in the cost of staple grains can be devastating. Put plainly, filling the 25-gallon tank of a sport utility vehicle with pure ethanol would require more than 450 pounds of corn, enough calories to feed one poor person for a year. The domestic market for corn has been transformed from chronic surplus stocks and carry forwards into bare shelves. Tighter supplies have led to higher prices even in good weather years. What if dry, hot weather produces a short corn crop? A 2007 report from the U.S. Department of Agriculture by Iowa State Centers for Agriculture and Rural Development estimated that with a 2012 mandate of 14.7 billion gallons, corn prices would be driven 42% higher. There have been attempts to solve this issue by using different alternatives instead of corn to make ethanol. Alternatives include switchgrass and wood fibers, which are both cellulosic, which means of, containing, or derived from cellulose inputs. Another attempt was to replace current ethanol tax breaks with a sliding scale that would reduce incentives to produce ethanol when corn prices are high, and thus slow the diversion of corn from food to fuel. The element of culture this is most connected to is the economic systems element. It's connected because almost all of Mexico's economy is based around corn. The poor population depends on it for one of their main foods, tortillas. The economic system of Mexico is troubled because about half of Mexico's 107 million people live in poverty and depend on corn for most of their calories. The increase in corn prices impacts the delicate economy even more. The issue of corn versus ethanol is very important, and the problem will only get worse if nothing is done about it.